concern is once each of you or whoever in your respective SMD gets elected and you become part of ANC 5A, how you will react to us individually with our issues. I attended the last ANC 5A meeting, brought to the attention, even though there was a police report about the prostitution going on in my house, in front of my house. If you want some photos, I can give you to them. I had evidence this morning and the past week of this going on. And the reaction of that, the commissioners was, oh, that's new. No. The prostitution around Rhode Island, for those of us who have lived in that area, is not new. It was new for them to put it up as a prostitution-free zone. So my concern is, okay, once you're elected, and even if you're not, how are you going to be involved and actually address these particular concerns? Are you just going to go with the rest of the commissioners on these issues, or are you really going to remember us as individuals?
Are you addressing?
Yes, I'm addressing everybody.
I think that it's critical that we represent the people. It's not about us, and that our position that we take on is to be the mouth, the eyes, and the ears of the people. So that's what it's about. If the people want something, then we have to address that. I mean, there's no two ways about that. And the thing is that that example has to be shown so that those coming behind us, the youth, the children, that may want to run for positions in the future, they have to see that somebody is going to stand up for the people. What's right? It's going to take open their mouth about things that they know that are wrong. Thank you.
Mr. Griffin?
Well, thank you. First of all, I think that's a very fair question, and I think it should be asked of all of us. One of the things that I've enjoyed most is really getting out and talking to my neighbors. And I think the most important job in this role is staying visible and staying engaged. And again, I think that for me, the practice of riding around in the neighborhood, I feel like I'm a bit of a patrolman, riding around and talking to my neighbors, and I hope to continue to do that. And hear the concerns, and on that issue very specifically, I will tell you that since my conversation with Commander Green, I've taken his advice and I've called 911 several times on suspicion of any activity. I've tested it. I've seen that in some cases they've responded very quickly, and in other cases they haven't. But just as I've been campaigning, I've been flagging officers down and saying, there's some activity here, you need to go after.
Ms. Carter?
Just to piggyback off of what Corey said, I think it's important whoever is elected in this position, in my top three is constituent services. You have to have a regular forum where people can have their concerns addressed. But also, I just really feel like whether it's prostitution, break-ins, trash, residents don't really know their rights and know the proper procedure to effectively address them within a time-effective manner. I really think that is the issue, and I think all an ANC really can do is be the face, and that first line of defense, as Caroline said, for residents to have their issues addressed on a consistent basis. I myself have also spoke to captains in Commander Green's office regarding the break-ins and the other crimes such as prostitution. And yes, it's nice to put up a poster saying no prostitution zone, but you really need to beef up patrol, just like the break-ins you need to beef it up for the prostitution.
Mr. Thomas?
In reference to prostitution, prostitution is all up and down New York Avenue, goes up Lake River Road, goes down Eastern Avenue, Eastern Avenue to Eastern and Rhode Island. You got to be on there Friday nights, 2 o'clock. You got young ladies 16, 17, 15 years old coming from Arkansas, South Carolina, from all over. The NPD is out there. We have our news, let the community know what's going on. Be informed, inform the community of what's exactly happening. Talking to the community. As an ANC, we're grassroots, so we're not going anywhere. It's not like when we leave here, we're going up on Capitol Hill to our office. So we're there. You're going to see us at the store with coupons, buying things just like you are. So we're not going anywhere. So we're aware of the problems, We're right there. We live next door to you. We're telephone calls away. So it's not like, we're going to disappear after the so we run back to your hill, we run back down to the district building. But as you said, you don't get paid for this. It's grassroots. You got the same problem we got.
Mr. Daggett?
Well, I don't have any intention of forgetting constituents once, if I'm fortunate enough to deal with it. I don't have any intention of doing that. I think it's one of my primary jobs. And I think people need to know, who in the city is responsible for doing, their service or their problem, who that person's boss is, what the procedure or procedures they're going to use to get it addressed, and, where they can turn or what avenues they can turn to or other resources they can call on if it's not working out.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
We're slowly losing our schools. We lost our own middle school, which is active. We lost SLO to charter schools. Brooklyn is kind of in limbo. And our schools in this area are under attack of being closed. As an ANC, what would your role be in addressing the issue of opening our schools?
Are you addressing all the candidates?
And Jocelyn, say why you care about schools.
Well, PTA President John Burroughs, and they did try to close that school. We were able to stop it, but our schools are under attack.
Sure.
And we want to know what the ANC can do, or what they will do to help them.
Who wants to take first? Mr.
Burroughs is
Griffin?
in 5810, so I'll take the question. I actually attended the last modernization meeting that they had at Burroughs, and I was, again, greatly disappointed at the attendance. We're just not engaged as a community, and so when you have that disengagement, then you're subject to what the administration or what others in power decide for us. So again, it would be my hope, and my effort will be spent getting people engaged. We just don't understand these issues until we get the Fox 5 newsflash that our schools are going to be closed. But there are lots of meetings that are happening where we're not present. So I'm going to try to stay on the issue. I'm going to try to be present at as many of those meetings as I can, and then represent those concerns to the administration and to council members. I know most of them, if not all of the council members. So.
Anyone else?
I can also speak on that. I actually recently have been in contact with a young lady by the name of Samar. She's a GW student who will actually be attending the next ANC 5A joint meeting at the end of this month. Her senior thesis project is evaluating Ward 5 school closings, and her particular group is focusing on the 5A area. So she'll actually be at the next meeting, and she will be handing out a survey so that she can actually survey the issues and concerns regarding the school closings. I myself, like I said, live right up the street from John Burroughs. I would be ashamed if that school were to go. It's almost like a landmark. It's been there so long. So, and I'm disappointed that elementary school here is closed. And I know they're trying to do some other things with some other spaces, but I definitely will advocate for that if elected as well.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, I believe that the collaborative process that we spoke of earlier is necessary in those types of issues where the PTA and ANCs should be connected, and that the various ANCs that surround the school, because there are children from different ANCs that attend these schools, we can collectively use a legislative process to create a resolution that can be submitted to our council to address and let the city know our wants and the needs of keeping that particular school or schools open.
Mr. Day?
Well, I will confess, I'm not going to dogpile on school reform. I consider myself a supporter of school reform, broadly speaking. But as I understand it, the school closings fell disproportionately on Ward 5 in this immediate area to include the middle school. And every time that kind of thing is brought up, the the government, this administration trots out statistics that talk about the school money that came here. Well, I don't know that necessarily, but that doesn't explain the fact that there's no middle school around here. So I think that's pulling from actually a lot of what Corey said, building critical mass. I think that's vital, but also understanding what the capital improvement plan is and getting an unfunded need and bringing it to the people that are in charge of writing those plans and getting money and build the case every way you can.
Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, one of the top priorities should be in Ward 5 is getting middle school back open. So with that, it's very sad that we don't have one here. This is a very large, high voting population, and for the administrators to close down a middle school was a tragedy to this ward here. I'm all for middle schools. I'm all for every school in the District of Columbia to be open, for that matter of fact. But to answer your question, I will do what I can. I've always believed in the public school system. I don't believe in just taking one resource and put it across town and kids being bused across town because of all the resources over there. The resources should be spread out through every ward from 1 to 8. And if we citizens at Ward 5, we should let our councilmen know, our at-large people know, that we want a middle school and we need one back open very soon. It's September.
Other questions?
I hope no issue is too trivial. Brooklyn is known for its dogs. All right, and so, there's going to be a dog park, which is actually outside of Brooklyn, but is pretty close to where I live, which is a great thing. But we were having a problem, particularly on my street, which is Jackson, of people not picking up after their dogs. One person, particularly at the corner of 18th and Jackson, early this year, put a big sign around a tree, asking, pleading for people to pick up after them. What can you do as an ANC representative to bring more awareness to this issue so that we can have some, clean sidewalks and streets to walk in?
Mr. Thomas?
Okay, here we go, dog park. Dog parks. As you know, there should be one dog park in each ward. There's one coming in Ward 5 over Lightning Park. They identified a spot. And so that should be coming to you soon. What we have done in 5A, we have bought signs asking people to poop.
Where?
We have the signs.
Not in the A.
No, I'll explain to you. We have the signs. DDOT has to put them up, and we're in the process of having DDOT. But we have the signs for maybe, how many months now?
8 or 9 months.
8 or 9 months. And
getting as Cheryl knows all too well, getting DDOT to
yeah. So we have to.
Where will the signs go? On the ground or on?
The signs will go up.
Because I saw one.
It's been so long.
on their own poles.
On their own poles, yeah. And they're asking people to poop. We have recognized your problem. We're trying to address it in 5A. So we had taken the money we had and bought signs asking people if they walk the dog, please poop.
But will this? How many or do you have? Will it be totally around the whole ward or?
We bought 100 of
them. Because
we bought 100. We bought 100. We started out with 100. We're gonna go back. But what we did, we couldn't have to do. We voted on it. It's a voting process, and the 12 commissioners voted to do 100 and see how it goes.
Anyone else want to comment on this?
I do, because I have dogs.
Big dog. 2 dogs.
I have 2 dogs, and I walk them, and I think a couple problems. That it is a big issue, but I think there could be, and I don't know what I can do about it, but I'd certainly like to have the conversation. Perhaps, and I've been in other cities where they have receptacles so that you can dispose of the matter, and then also get bags. So what I find is that some people don't have bags. They don't carry them around. Sometimes you're out and you run out of the last one you had. But for me, I've actually gone back home and traveled back to pick up mess. And I don't think a lot of people will do that. So it would help if we had receptacles so people could dispose of it properly. And then also grab a bag if they need to. And I've seen that in cities like Seattle and other places where they do that. It's funny you should mention that. I actually saw a person do that today.
do what?
I saw them let their dog have their potty break and then walked off in front of a store notice.
Anyone